Seven.
What, sorry? Oh, chairman, yeah.
Six.
You should just say chairperson. Yeah.
Wish
Yeah, I
I
don't
was
care what they
52.
want.
Wish I was 52.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, 5 years, 4 years making a difference right now. My knees, 4 years making a big difference on my knees. Yeah, 4 years makes a big difference on my knees. We're Dennis. We're Dennis.
You gonna call this meeting to order, Roy Lee?
Yes, ma'am.
We're just calling the meeting to order. I was just telling you. Ms. Hamilton, please lead us.
Certainly. You'll join me. Father God, we are so thankful that you are just so great and that you loved us so much that you sent your son. And Father, we thank you for this moisture. We praise you for it. And we just ask that you continue to send it to our lands, to your land. We just receive it. And we know that it will come more in your time. And we are just trusting in your time and in your seasons. Lord, thank you for everyone that's here today. Help them all return to their places safely. Please be with those amazing, brave men and women that are protecting this great nation. Lord, we ask that you're with the board and that you just give them your discernment, your guidance, and your wisdom. And Father, just help us all to glorify you in all that we do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, to be a symbol for progression among the United cultures.
All right, you want me to get that?
First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
So move.
Second, I got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Second, approval of the minutes from the March 19th regular meeting and the March 25th special meeting.
Move we approve. Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, public requests. Anybody have any public requests? You have 3 minutes to speak on anything.
Good morning. My name is Meredith Eaton, and I'm here to speak about the possibility of a home economist position returning to Roosevelt County. I currently serve as the Extension Association of New Mexico Vice President. I've been a member for 11 years, and this organization has greatly impacted myself and my family in Roosevelt County. I could go on a lot about that, but today I want to focus on the economic impact that we've had in the county. Everybody should have received one of these sheets. Hopefully it's fairly simple. This is just through third quarter of last year, but you can see across different ways that we track our volunteerism and monetary donations through our members. So we have hours taught, that is repeating something we've learned in the organization, hours related to extension like 4-H, volunteering at the fair, hours not related to extension, that would be cooking funeral meals, teaching Sunday school, things like that. Then we have dollars directly donated to extension, and then dollars donated to the county or community by members, but not into extension. The state gives a volunteer rate. This was updated in 2022. The current rate is $26.95 an hour. So with that, with our volunteer hours, we've contributed just shy of $67,000 through third quarter of last year alone. And then just with dollars donated, just shy of $45,000, totaling over $111,000. So we have great impact in our community financially and through volunteerism. I believe that this is going to be hard to maintain at this level without further support. As an organization, we need consistent upper leadership. With further support, I think that these numbers can be grown significantly, and the impact on our community will only get better. My contact information is on the bottom of that sheet. So if you have any questions about the organization, how we contribute to Extension, and how that position can help our group, please feel free to contact me, or about any numbers you see on those pages. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Okay. Good morning. My name is Sarah Clark, and I am here to ask that our county extension get its home ec agent position filled. I have been a resident here for a little over 10 years, and my children have been 4-H members for almost 5 years. We have done many projects and activities through extension, from sewing classes, baking that is specific to 4-H standards to enter into the fair, to budget practices to compete in county contests. Through the years, from parents to our wonderful agents, we have shown up and gotten projects taught, and the kids were able to finish projects. No matter how many parents it took to Google how-to videos, we certainly made it work. But therein lies the problem: a large community of novice parents with varying ideas and opinions trying to make it work for our children. We just don't have the proper knowledge that our parents and grandparents had once before. Times have changed. There aren't as many people with the proper skills left to teach anymore. I wasn't taught the same as my mom was because she had to work while I was growing up. We are trying to raise self-sufficient, strong children to grow into strong adults so that we may have a stronger community. As I mentioned, times have changed. The cost of living is too high. Our community is shattered. If all it could take was one person who possessed the proper knowledge to start something great, why wouldn't we take that opportunity? And to our county agents, we are just so appreciative of the dedication and hard work from them, but we need a home ec agent. It's time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good morning, commissioners. I'm going to kind of put my hat to the side as far as a county official. And my name is Darla Reed. For those who don't know me, I work for the Roosevelt County as a DWI program coordinator. But today I'm going to talk to you more about the Roosevelt County Extension Home Economics position that we're looking or asking you to look into to put that back in place. I had a little history book with me, and a lot of you have this book probably. They're in the form of cookbooks. If you ever wonder about the home extension history in Roosevelt County, just go to your cookbook list. I'd found this book at a garage sale a year or two ago, and it just tells us that the extension work began in Roosevelt County in the 1920s when the first clubs were organized at Inez and Portales and at Arch in 1922. Miss Sarah Kerr was the first county home economist in 1924, to be followed by 19 individuals up until the time of this book was in 1986, which it lists the last one as Joy Best. There were some, that's followed. The one that's kind of dear to my heart, my sister-in-law, Ruth Ashley, was the home economist from 74 to 77. Other names you know quite well: Cheryl Borden, as well as Joy Best. And probably if you read the whole list, people would know more of them. I think it's something we have had in the past. We have history with it. I'd like to see it come back. We do have a lot of people younger than I am that are very interested in the work with 4-H and the work with the home economist type information. A lot are interested in good nutrition for their families, the best way to plan their homes and their lives. And I think a home economist could bring that back. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you this morning for letting me take my hat off a little bit. Put it back on. I am the county home extension president at this time. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything? Okay, moving on. Thank you guys very much. Moving to elected officials, detention, Ms. Ramsey.
Good morning. So first I'll do my report for the detention center. Our facility count this morning is at 68. We have 10 females and 58 males. Our out of county are closer to around 10 I didn't correct that on my report. For our billing for Quay, we're at 44,000 even, and for military, it was $2,075 for the month of March. In our MAP program, we have 11 participants, 11 in group and 11 in individual counseling. We have 3 on medication at this time. We have 4 in GED. We have 10 in yoga and 10 in parenting. So that's the conclusion for my detention report. And then I'll move on to my restrictive housing report. For the, I believe it's the 3rd quarter. Is that right? We're at 0. We have no restricted housing. I stand for any questions.
Shayla, the military, you said, is that?
Yes, sir.
Cannon?
We house
Is-
for Cannon and other military bases as well.
Yeah, I didn't know we did that.
Yes, they have a very small housing area. So when they get up in their numbers, we usually house for them.
I guess this is the first month. I think that since I've been on the commission.
It's the first month that I've added it to the bill or to the report, but we have housed for them since on and off for a couple of years now, but we started again, I want to say November for one member, and then we had another member come into December. And then we held her, I want to say till last month, mid-month.
And I guess the rates with them is the same as the other counties that were.
There's an agreement.
Okay. All right, no, I'm good.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Healthcare, Ms. Weems.
Good morning.
I move we go into indigent.
Second.
Got a motion and a second?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, I come to you this morning with our indigent claims, and we have a total of 4 for $1,688.36. I request that we approve 1 at $36.36. Disapprove 3 at $1,652. With Fedco, emergency physicians approving 0, disapproving 2 for $1,442, as those 2 patients had Medicaid at the date of service. Roosevelt General Hospital approving 0, disapproving 1 for $210. They are from another county, Quay County, that we will bill. The final one is with Concord Radiology approving 1 at the $36.36 and disapproving 0. I'll stand for any questions.
I make a motion, we come out of indigent. Got a motion, a second? Yes,
Yes.
we are out of indigent.
Accept the indigent.
I'll second. Got a motion and a second?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we are at roads, Mr. Dominguez.
Morning.
Mhm.
All right, so far we finished up on 10.5, and that crew is now working on South Roosevelt Road 11 between South Roosevelt Road P and Q. And then the second crew finished up on State Line or South Roosevelt Road A last week. And now that blade is going back on the route in the arch area. And we have 1 blade in Mill and Sand, 1 on 7 and AM west of 330, 1 south of Elida on AG and 26 area, and then 1 on 7 and N east of Portales. And then we'll be moving the scraper south of Elida to clear out blow sand on a few roads, and then some in Floyd. And that's about it.
Mr. Dominguez. Yes, they want, I'd like to add, I know we talked to Amber, we had a little disagreement down there on County Road 11. And when y'all are down there, I would like to request to go ahead and go west of 206 up to that turn in, that house there on 11 on the south side of the road. I would like to go while we're there. You know, we talked about it in I would like to go ahead and, see if we can't go ahead and just get that done while we're there. And then, like I say, and then give the rest of that road, that Cleachy, to Tina for her use in her down there on 28, out there west of Elida. But I would like to, since we're on 11, just go ahead and finish that, up to that trailer house, up to that turn in that trailer house there.
Oh, okay. Halfway.
On the west side of 206 there, on 11. I really would. What do you think?
Well, I don't know that we're gonna have enough to justify down on 28. So if the commission wants to like have us put together an estimate, then we can bring it and y'all can put forth some additional money. Cause it would be about maybe a quarter of a mile or a
Yeah.
couple of tenths, because if we're using half a mile approximately to get to that turn or something, I think you said it was down there. I don't think there'll be adequate funds to do it because it's such a long haul. That's a very expensive section. So
Right.
what we can do is put together an estimate and then bring it to y'all at the next meeting, and y'all can decide if you want to pull and put some additional funds in there through a budget adjustment to be able to have enough to do a mile.
All right. Because I think it's not quite a half a mile up to that trailer house turn in. I want to say maybe a little over a quarter, isn't it? Or maybe
so.
right at a quarter.
Yeah.
Mile, what it is.
We'll just need to figure out the cost of the equipment and the hauling and get an estimate, and then we can figure out what is left in the project for AM. Is that which one? Or it's the one coming out of Kenna.
28, and then it
28.
goes to AU. Yeah.
We'll figure it out. And we
All
can
right.
bring
I
the dollars.
just figured that since we're there on 11, do that. Since
We're across the highway
Yeah.
now on the east
right
side.
on the east side of the highway where they're right. All right.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Dominguez, thank you I know filling potholes is a never ending job, and
Right.
the one that's over by my house, you put something else. Whatever's in there is really, really good. I think it's holding up good. But you know that like P coming off of 70, going down, hit 7, going west, that's kind of a truck bypass kind of
All
a
right.
deal. And I noticed over there by Spray Green, there's a pothole there. You feel it really good, but right across the road there,
Doing the same thing.
Yeah.
it's just crumbling up, and I don't know what do you do about it? And those little spots are opening up a lot of places.
Right.
What do we do about those?
Right there where they're coming out, it might be just, heavy truck traffic and stuff. Maybe that's why it's busting it up. Maybe eventually,
About those crumbling up spots.
I think we're gonna have to go back and seal them or put some POG seal on them or something, a little more oil, stick them together. So, but
Those, lots of them in that
little area there,
MP 7.
right? I talked to the company, and when they come down, they're gonna look at it, see what's going on. So,
Okay, thank you.
all righty, thank you.
And if I can add to that, I think one of the things that Mr. Dominguez and I have been talking about is there's just going to have to be some roads that we add back on the list that are going to have to be rebuilt. Because when you start crumbling and losing those, either we're going to have to do new shoulders like we did on AD with that section and roll in those shoulders, or if the subgrade is failing, then that's going to be the overhaul, kind of like what we're dealing with on South Roosevelt Road 8. So those will be all recommendations that Mr. Dominguez can bring forward in your next road workshop in terms of some of these roads. Just you patch them and you hold them as long as you can with your oil and keep them as fresh as you can. But at some point, they're just not going to have the life left. I think our life expectancy is about 20 years on a chip seal, depending on traffic patterns and everything. So we will have those on the list for y'all.
Thank you. Thank you, Warren.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Miss Hamilton.
Yes. Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. So just a few things to update you on. As the commission, we are excited to have another award for congressional district spending from the federal level for the Roosevelt County Detention Center plumbing from Senator Heinrich's office. That's going to be for $275,000 to help overhaul the plumbing and electrical up in the front section. So the first section of the building that was built in the late 1980s is the part that we've identified that has the greatest number of needs. And it's been on our capital outlay list, as y'all recall, for several years. We haven't been able to receive any state funding for it. So we're excited to secure some of these federal funds. It will be a multi-year process, as we know, as we've experienced with the Arch fire truck. It takes a year to get the funding and then contracts and all of that. So this will be something that we work on in the next couple of fiscal years in their budget. So we have that. We did receive an update from the city of Clovis in regards to our crisis triage center. That's where the city of Clovis has received the initial $10 million award for capital outlay. And that is to provide a 24-hour 24/7 drop off for crisis triage to really help our law enforcement take that burden off of our emergency rooms. So the city of Clovis is in their final negotiations of the land purchase with what all the commissions and governing bodies selected and everything. So as we see more of that develop, we will start in the next stage. They did release a request for information to get some ideas of what entities might be interested, because as a government type facility, it'll be a public-private partnership. We definitely know we need someone that has that expertise to come in there and manage that on the behalf. And again, this is about 8 local governments that have tied in together. So really excited to see that continue to move forward. As far as the fairgrounds goes, we have the bid out for the covered stalls. That will be open today. And then once we have that, we will bring it to y'all at the next meeting, ideally for request for y'all's approval for that bid award. And we anticipate releasing the bid for the pavilion update shortly, and that work should be completed. The covered stalls are to be completed by the end of June, and the pavilion we're targeting for the end of June, but no later than the end of July. And we are looking at budget workshops, so I would ask that you would please check your calendars. April 26th, starting about 10 a.m. once we get a few meetings that we have in the morning taken care of. So 10 a.m. till that afternoon. And then May 2nd and May 3rd. We're trying to work around y'all's retreat and coordinate some potential dates. So if any of y'all have any major conflicts with those, and I will also check with Commissioner Lopez, and then I will follow up with each of y'all later this week just to make sure that those dates are working. Again, that's the 26th, May 2nd, and May 3rd. And I think those are the high points. Other than that, I would stand for any questions.
Scott has a doctor's appointment on the 2nd.
Okay.
I need to go with her, I guess. But
The 3rd would work.
budget deal out.
No, we can.
I think we can do it in 2 days. So if the 3rd works for you, we could leave that one there. And then I will see if that's a problem with any of the others.
The 26th is a problem with me. Isn't that a Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay, we'll look at the following week in May.
I had a couple questions for you. On the triage center, is that property right over there by the hospital? Isn't that where they're doing that one?
It's a little further down from the hospital. So more of an adjacent to, there's, I want to say 17 acres that they purchased. That's just a little bit further down. What is that, 21st? So past, there's the pharmacy and the clinic. It's further down there on the left-hand side if you're going toward the base.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yes, ma'am.
And on the pavilion update, what exactly is the work that's going to be done on that first phase of the pavilion?
That's what the architect presented to y'all a couple, I think it's been a couple months now, where it's the restroom renovations. It's what we received the state money for the recreational grant. And it's taking those 4 restrooms, combining them into 2 with inside outside access and full ADA capabilities and everything. So we have that. And then the covered ADA picnic area on the front where all that existing, those trees that are growing in the foundation and stuff, all that's coming out. The old landscaping, it'll be just covered concrete for ADA accessibility.
Okay. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, moving on. Commissioners. Mr. Greider? Mr. Griswold?
Last Friday, me and my wife was in Las Cruces for the day and for the night. But anyway, while I was there, I wanted to kill two birds with a stone. And so I got with John Boren. He is the head extension service agent down there in Las Cruces. And at the last meeting or meeting before last, I'd like, if I could meet with him and y'all were in favor of it. And so I did. I met with him Saturday morning. John Morton, really nice guy. He is very excited about wanting to talk to the county, maybe, and coming up with some funds to help the county out with an extension agent, with a home economist agent. And he is willing to go into a 50-50 with the county, split this deal for a full-time home economist, which would come up with his figures. It would come up to $37,000 a piece, and for the county and plus the operations, which I think the operation, he said a couple thousand for operations. I guess you'd know more about the operations that they used to, giving them funds, I guess, for gas or whatever go around anyway. But it would come up to like a 37,000 split, and that was going to cover the weight. That's benefits, everything. And so on the last presentation that Patrick had, that it was going to cost, I believe, if I'm right, it was going to cost, he was talking about a 3/4 of, my home economist coming in there for 3/4 of a time, and was going to cost like $38,900. And anyway, and then and so I think right now they're willing to help. And if y'all would like to, he said he would like to even come to, if we needed to, he would even like to come down there and make a presentation to us. He would drive up for the next meeting here in a couple of weeks. But he's excited, and I'm excited. I'm sorry, I'm a big advocate for a home economist. Our women and the kids, we have the largest group of homemakers in this county in the state. And I forgot how many I think we'll say there's 5 groups of home economists in this county. And then there's 100 little kids enrolled in 4-H programs. And our last home economist, she did a lot with the youth too, along with the older women with the home clubs. And our youth, we're going to get out of it what we put into it in these youth. And Donna, yeah, I guess Miss Moyer, Connie Moyer, she did a lot with the youth. She coached some teams, and she was always putting on sewing clinics, helping the little kids out and stuff. And I know my daughter was even involved with them. And so I know firsthand what went on. And so, but I enjoyed the talk with him. He's excited. He was excited just to have a county to come talk to him about trying to get a position to come back up. He said that I was the first, that Roosevelt County was the first ones that has come back to him since they took those positions away back in 2012. When they cut those positions, and he says he told me, he says times have changed. We're not as in bad shape as we were. And he thinks that he would like to, he thinks they can do it. He knows that they can do a 50-50 split for a home economist. And so anyway, but that's what I met and that's what we come up to. He first wanted to do a 60-40 and 60 for the was going to be for the county. And I said, no, I said, if we're going to do something, let's see if we can't just do a split. And he agreed with it. He says, that's right. But I go over this paper with, that position be paying 54,000 for full time right here. And then he says it's going to be, I want to say, I think he told me they add almost 30% for the benefits. So that would come up about around 20,000. Equals $74,000 for that position. And so that's where we get the 37 split out between the state, New Mexico State, and us.
Did he ever talk about, he thinks he's able to continue funding?
He talked like they could continue funding from here on out, and it might even get better with the funding. He thought, in the future, that they might be able to kick in more as we go along. But he said as we're starting out here, he could sure do the 50% split. And so that's kind of exciting, and he was excited just to have somebody come ask him. And that's what I told him. I said, I'm here. I said, it doesn't hurt to ask. I said, the worst thing you can do is tell me no. And so, and he was excited that I even wanted to meet with that. I was even down there, and made the effort to come down and meet. And he's wanting to make the effort to see if we can get somebody hired up here. And so, but anyway, he liked that we're both trying to make an effort. And so if we can cut it, I'd sure like to see if we can't do something about this position.
If I can, I think the best time to have him present would be during your budget workshops and have him come in at the same time Patrick is making his extension request so that all of it is there and
We
y'all
can
have
do
your
that.
worksheets up and that way you can see and work in everything that you want to.
He told me he could come up anytime, and I told him that we need to get, if we're going to talk about this, that we're fixed to go talking about budget and we need to get it done, get it talked about. And so you give me a date. If I can get a date, then I can get with him on when Patrick would be presenting. So
As soon as we can get those scheduled with y'all's calendars
okay.
in May.
All right. I guess we can see if we can't see what that. But anyway, it was a productive morning, and he was excited. I was excited, and I was glad to meet this John Bourne. And anyway, I liked it.
Madam President, I'm 100% in favor of one. I'm going to do whatever that we need to do to get this done. But I wanted to make a comment. I think Commissioner Criswell needs to be commended for the extra effort and going down there and talking to this gentleman and trying to get the ball moving. I think he's gone kind of above the call of duty. And it's important to me that we support these families, especially this time, with the way things are in America. I think these type of programs need to be reinvented, reinstalled throughout the nation. I think we have an opportunity to do it right here in our community. We need to get it done. So thank you, Mr. Criswell.
You're welcome. And I'd like to say, I didn't do it for a pat on the back. I'm trying to do it for the communities and try to better our county. Yes.
Well, that lady that's in here a while ago has got 4 little old kids now, and they're a beautiful family. And they're involved in this, and this information she gave us a while ago was pretty impressive to me too. So I think I'm really in favor of it.
Thank you.
And I'd like to say I've been part of the extension club here in Roosevelt County. And I too am completely in favor of getting an extension agent back. And I do appreciate your work and efforts in going down there and talking to them and trying to help the county to get to fulfill the need that we have for this extension agent. So I am in complete favor of this, and I would love to have him come down during our budget workshop. So thank you for that.
Madam President,
Yes.
everybody's through talking, there's something else I want to talk about. When Senator Engel retired, you know, we were asked to recommend a candidate to fill his position, and it was determined we would support Pat Boone. And I don't know about y'all, but I think that was a good decision.
Yes, sir.
I hope that y'all think that is a good decision. I'm still in favor of supporting Mr. Boone. I have received lots of letters, emails, letters, you know, flyers from Mr. Nybert. He's doing a great job in his campaign. Andrea Reed has put something out to support me. Mr. Zamora has put something out supporting him. I haven't seen much in support of Mr. Boone. But Mr. Boone did call me and ask me for a letter of recommendations, which I understood he'd probably talk to some of y'all about the same thing. But I would like to do more. And I don't know if we can do it as a commission. If we're not going to do something as a commission to support him, then I'm going to do something as an individual to support him. And not just a letter, but I think I could get one of those big campaign signs. Maybe cost $100 over here. I haven't checked into it, but I think it'd be, but I'd like to get one. Huh?
$2.95.
Oh, it's $3.95?
No, $95.
Okay. I thought you said $3.95, so woo, maybe. I don't know if I like Pat that much.
Well, I think we'll go ahead and support him if it was. We nominated him. I nominated him. We voted him in.
You don't want to get a big sign, give him a picture, put it on Facebook, hang that sign by the road somewhere. I want to do more. You know, if other elected officials can support Mr. Nybert, I think that we as elected officials should be able to support our candidate, and I'm willing to do it. I want to do what I can, and if y'all want to get involved, fine. If you don't, I'll do it myself.
Okay, well, I have written a letter for Pat. It's on his website. I have, because I do endorse Pat Boone 100%. Also, there is I'm doing a fundraiser for Pat. It's going to be on the 19th of this month at the barn at Tinsley Crossing.
Okay.
So there is a fundraiser. If you would like to help with that, that would be fabulous. So I just knew we had to do something to help him get a fundraiser and get the word out and stuff like that around here. Mr. Nybert has been in politics for a while, so he knows a lot of people. So he's already got his name out, you know, so it was a little easier transition for him to keep on going. So I was doing everything I could to help. Mr. Boone, I would also like to say with that all of the other counties, from what, you know, they all have some other representation, be it a state rep or another senator or whatever, in all the other counties in District 27. Roosevelt County doesn't have anything. We don't have a representative from Roosevelt County. We don't have a state rep or a senator from Roosevelt County. The other counties do have somebody from their county that represent them. The Senate seat would be the only thing that we would have that was actually from Roosevelt County. And we had it with Senator Engel for years. So yes, I agree with you 100% on that. I would like to do it, and I would like to do it as a commission if we could, as a body.
You know, if we go to do something like that, and then we meet to take a picture, meet to do something, then we're in violation of the Open Meetings Act.
Not if we,
Not
Not if we don't
so
discuss, not if we don't discuss.
we can
business,
disclose
we can't.
we can disclose our meeting
Yep.
to the public.
We just can't
and
discuss
we just
business or
can't
take
discuss
action.
business. Yeah.
We cannot discuss business or take action, but we can still meet anywhere we want to.
Okay, we'll work on it.
Good.
Thank you for listening.
Let's do it.
How do you feel, Paul?
You get right along.
Good.
Whooping around. All right.
Thank you for that, Rod. Okay, does anybody else have anything else on commissioner comments?
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay, moving on. Item 5, new business. These are items we may take action on. Discussion of Roosevelt County Courthouse District Court renovations and request for commission approval for the submission of an administrative offices of the court grant application with an estimated total project budget of $858,031. Ms. Hamilton, Mr. Spears, and Judge Mauer. Don't know what order y'all are going to start that in, but somebody go ahead.
Well, I'll touch on, good morning again, Commissioner. So in your packets was the architectural estimate after he came down and reviewed the location and the proposed renovation. So we were looking for an actual estimate and identifying those things that are. We did find there is some sewer lines that are collapsed that'll have to be rerun to be able to accommodate this. So that has a hefty allowance in there, as y'all have seen. But I would defer to the experts at the podium to be able to share the rest of the information.
Thank you, Ms. Hamilton. Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. You recall we came here a couple of months ago asking for your support to some improvements upstairs, which included some ADA compliant restrooms, jury room improvements, and a few other things. And we're thankful that you guys went on the tour of that location to see what we wanted to do. We're at the point in the application where what we need from this body is actually what we would need is a letter from the county manager that states that this body supports this project. The total cost of the project will not exceed $1 million, which the estimate is $858,000. Excuse me. The county commission will cover 50%, which I don't have the exact number, but that would be $429,000 roughly. And that the county be willing to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the AOC. So we still have to go through the judiciary process, but in order to move forward in that process, that's the letter that we need from Ms. Hamilton stating that this county would support that. And ultimately we have to come back and get this agreement signed in order to receive the funding, but it is a 50% match. We have invested, not to this amount, but we've done some things upstairs of our own with the jury box improvement, some technology. We have new seating in there. And we're certainly appreciate all that you do for us, but we're here to ask for your support today. And I'll go to Chief Judge Mauer if she has anything she'd like to add.
I think this is just the perfect opportunity because AOC has this money and the money came from the legislature specifically with the intent to aid counties, and it's to aid counties that don't have the budgetary capacity to fund things on their own. And so it's a match of up to 50%. And I want to tell you that because this county doesn't have a lot of funding, I think it's easy for us to get the 50%. Where if you have a county, you all can name a county that has a lot more funding capacity than we do, they're not going to get the full 50% match. So because we're a county that doesn't have the funding capacity, this is a perfect opportunity. And the legislature has infused an additional 10 million into this budget. And then we have to go through our budget process to justify. And I don't think we'll have a problem with it because we initially presented this several months ago and we got approval, but we didn't have the county on board yet. So now if we can get the county on board, this is just a matter of moving forward and we can get this started.
Did you have something, Paul?
Yeah.
Okay.
Move we approve.
I'll second. Got a motion and a second. Commissioner Greider?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, item 5B, presentation of and request for approval of preliminary organizational charts for the FY25 budget. Ms. Bagwell and Ms. Hamilton.
Good morning. Included in your packet were copies of the preliminary org charts that we have put together Um, we really just need, or I'm just requesting approval so that I can start getting numbers put together for the actual personnel budget. So I can have some, concrete numbers instead of, well, maybe this.
And we want to denote too that there are certain ones that all the changes are highlighted in red. So like within the clerk's office, they are at a point where they are going to have a senior county services specialist position and then two county, like the other two county service specialists in there. Also in the treasurer's office, trying to identify, we've had ongoing meetings with the treasurer and the assessor. And we want to at least initially start a budget of a part-time person in there and see if that can work. If we can't make it work, then it might return to more of a shared one in fiscal year 25. That's to be determined because the treasurer's office has got to have some support at some level, and it's worked out really well the last couple of years. Both Lael and Stephen have done an excellent job of sharing that person in that capacity, but with that person leaving the county, having a new person coming in, there's a lot of unknowns with that. But we know we've got some interim stuff in the meantime to help just through the tax season right here in the spring, but that's noted. Y'all also, the commission, several of the commissioners requested that we look at a school deputy, school resource deputy for the rural schools. So that one is in there. So again, these are all new positions that are in here. We also have the emergency management technician. So this is the one that would be half funded by the state grant for emergency management. So that is identified, and these are all fluid. So what we're asking for today is your blessing, but if we get through the budget workshop and something doesn't work with the budget and we have to like balance the budget in some way, so the commission decides, yes, we're going to fund this, we're not going to fund this, then y'all can come back and amend these before we make these final for fiscal year 25. So all of this can be changed because I can assure you right now, there is no guarantee that there is budget capacity, especially with the other stuff y'all are wanting to fund. So that will be stuff y'all can determine in your workshops.
On these numbers, is this like, for example, the emergency management technician, 36,000 to the 54,000. Is that including benefits or is that?
That is salary, and that is based upon the pay plan that the county has adopted.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So we would have benefits on top of all of these numbers.
Oh, yes. We will bring you personnel numbers. Initial personnel numbers based on this are looking at just shy or just at 8 million-ish.
Yeah, just about.
Moving target. So it's big. We'll give y'all a great present in the works.
But we have like these separated from, like, we're adding this much in benefits with all of these positions. Okay.
We have total package costs. So like the
Holy
school
moly.
resource deputy total package to the county, even with the rural schools pitching in 20,000 each at 3, if all 3 of them came on board and signed, that would be 60. You would still potentially with the budget look at just over 34,000 on additional burden to the county to fund that position fully as it's budgeted.
Even after the schools pitch in 60, they make it a $94,000
With everything
position.
included. Correct. And that's the initial. We're having to budget based on experience, how the current one is staffed. Again, our job is just to give you projections and numbers. It's that impact that we
So-
look at.
So with that school, it says here 20,000 to 32,000. Am I reading that right?
No, it's $20 and
Oh, per hour.
20.641 to 30.532. Yes, per hour. And then they can also qualify for the additional incentives if they have their associate's degree, if they have their bachelor's degree, if they're a field training officer, if they have additional certifications according to the pay plan.
Can we not get one of the retired,
That
I'm
could
just
be
saying.
that could be a possibility, but a lot of
More
times
of
when
an
they come back
entry level?
retired, they have many years of experience to bring into that plan. So again, our job is just to bring y'all the best estimates that we possibly can. And so we're looking at that experience and talking with the sheriff's office. But that's just one example. Again, y'all will have all the fun when we get the
So-
budget workshops scheduled.
I don't know if this time and place, but I'm gonna go ahead and ask it. When we was in Santa Fe, the governor talked about money coming up for like resource officers and stuff at the school and grant money. Is that would we be able to help out in that grant money? When would that money be available? Was she talking, I guess, for this upcoming fiscal year and some of that grant money?
That's not anything that's been made available to the counties. Did they share anything at the New
They
Mexico
were just
counties
talking about
update?
it. They were
Just
just
talking.
talking about it.
That they were talking
had
about
some
that she had, right, that she was talking about it. And I didn't know if that was something that the counties was going to have to pursue to get, or was it something that the schools were going to have to pursue to get?
That was my understanding, was it would be through PED, and that's why the counties hadn't heard anything about it. But I'm happy to follow up on that and just make sure. Because we also have the new part that put in of the retirees that can come back for certain safety
Right.
type positions, but they have to come back at entry level. They cannot, come back in if they leave as a lieutenant or a sergeant at the detention center, retire. They have to come back in as a detention officer. So all of those things are coming back, and we're hoping that will continue to help everyone, HR and all the department heads and elected officials have been working really hard to keep staffing going. So we're at a good place right now, but I know that will also make a difference. But these again are just ranges. So what we put in is the range based on your pay plan for the appropriate position.
Okay. So I guess we'll make a motion to approve the preliminary organization chart. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Savage?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Request for approval to submit the application for amendment to ordinance zone change for Roosevelt County Board of Commission parcel number R028607, legal description S25T ISR 34E. Mr. Montiel.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, yes, this is a request for approval to submit an application to the city of Portales to request for a zone change from residential to commercial/agriculture for the properties at the detention center, the old road barn and the new road barn. And so and also those addresses are 1700 detention center, 1500 old road barn, and 1320, but also it needs to be changed to the account number being R028607 and to include R022949. Those are the two properties that need to be included into that application.
What was that second number?
R022949.
Okay.
And so we would like to submit that application to the city of Portales to start the process to get the zone change to commercial agriculture.
Okay.
So I stand for your approval, ask for your approval.
I move we approve item C. I'll second it.
Is that as stated with both of with the amendment? Okay. Got a motion and a second. Commissioner Greider?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
6A, resolution, ordinances, and proclamations. Consideration of resolution 2024-15, adopting the Roosevelt County Detention Center Annual Policies and Procedures Manual Annual Review.
Okay, so this is just for you guys to approve our 2024 policy and procedure manual. There was no major changes in it from last year, and anything that was changed, we had already brought to you. No major changes in verbiage or anything like that. So I just look for approval.
I'll make the motion to so approve.
I'll second. Got a motion and a second?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Mr. Ramsey. 6B, request for approval of notice of intent to adopt revised flood damage prevention ordinance. Mr. Montiel. You're back.
I was on deck. I wasn't even paying attention. My apologies. Um, again, this is a request for approval for the notice of attempt, revised floodplain, damage prevention. It's still a minimum damage, minimum protection. This is Class C under FEMA, which we had to adjust to fit the new regulatory maps that will be coming out in June. And so because of the physical map revision, so it has met the FEMA Type C regulations crosswalk. We added a couple of things such as agricultural structures and accessory structures, and they're being built all over the state. So we want to make sure that they're covered whenever they get built. And the only thing that was changed was under new construction, it was reworded just to mention the date of construction. And so other than that, everything stayed the same. It's the minimum standard. So I ask for your approval for the notice of intent.
I think we approve 6B.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Greider?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Contracts, agreements, and procurements. 7A, request for approval of State of New Mexico audit contract with Cordova CPAs LLC for FY24 financial audit services for $43,639. Ms. Rivera.
Good morning, Commissioners. Yes, I would like to request the approval of the annual audit contract with Cordova CPAs. This would be our 7th contract with them. Currently, by statute, we can do 8 consecutive years, and this would be our 7th. The price remains the same, and with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Move we approve 7A.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Did you have something to say, Roy Lee?
Yes.
You're just dancing in your chair.
What's customary? How long is customary on keeping the same audit group? Because I just know that some entities change after every 2 years, change
So-
auditors, and so I was just wondering, what's customary, and then because I do know a different set of eyes on stuff can be good.
Yes, sir, I agree. It can be good. From other counties I have discussed with them in the past, they can go anywhere from 4 years, and then they'll give themselves a 2-year break. Sometimes it's 6 years. Lee County has been doing about 6 years. And then now the statute, because it allows the 8 years currently, they will utilize that.
So is it a bid process to bid it out to see?
So because of our prices, it's not a bid, only anything over the 20,000, less than the 60,000, we can ask for quotes. This is in fact what we did a couple of years is we requested quotes from different independent CPA firms, and Cordova CPAs was the lowest.
Did we do a quote this year?
No, ma'am, not this year. It was about 2 years ago. We did a quote for the next 2 years, letting them know what we have, our budget, and that we would be needing a single audit as well for our federal funds. And then this also, of course, has to be approved with our state audit office. So this is submitted to the office of the state auditor before we even bring it to our commission to make sure it is approved.
And this is the 3rd audit firm that we've been using since we've been here. So we have changed. We had the original auditor, we changed after the 2014 audit was completed. And then we used another firm for 2-3 years. And then how long were we with? They were bought out a couple times. And then we went with Cordova. And so this will be the stint. And when we signed the original contract, it was for the single audit. It is a very time-consuming process to switch. So if it's something that you would like to look at doing, we could certainly, we brought this because we recommend having them this year because they've already got all of our accounts set up and everything going, but we could certainly get everything in place by next year. It's just a very heavy lift on your treasurer, on your finance, on everyone, because there is so much that they have to set up.
With that, I have a motion and a second. Mr. Greider?
Yes.
as well?
No.
No.
Yes.
Motion, motion fails with a tie. Okay, moving on to item 7B. Request for approval of amendment number 1 to agreement for comprehensive healthcare services between Roosevelt County and Roadrunner Health Services, Inc. Ms. Rivera.
Madam Chair, if I may interject, apologies to Liliana.
Pardon?
If I may interject, I wanted to mention something before we got started on it, if that's okay.
Okay.
And apologies to Liliana, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to let everybody know that we still do not have a signature yet from Roadrunner's principals. I've been waiting on hearing back from their attorney since the middle of last week. And in fact, I called them this morning and haven't got a response. Having said that, I think it's okay to go ahead and approve it because we did have an agreement in principle. And I think that I can work out getting the signatures and the formalities for just getting it finalized. But I did want to make you all aware of that fact.
So, Madam Chair, Michael, or is there a timeline on getting a signature from them, or?
Not really, Madam Chair, Commissioner Criswell, not really. I think it's just a matter of getting them through whatever is occupying their time at the moment. But it was pretty clear to me that through emails and going back and forth that we did have an agreement in principle. I just don't know why they haven't finalized it yet.
We still present it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Liliana. Sorry for the interruption.
Oh, you're okay. So included in your packet was the agreement. I would like to recommend for the approval of the amendment to our current comprehensive healthcare services contract with Roadrunner. The initial contract did not account for ancillary costs such as dental, laboratory, and pharmaceutical services. The agreement included in your packet lists the items in which Detention Administrator Ms. Ramsey, Ms. Hamilton, and I have been working closely with our legal team to negotiate over the past several months. In this amendment, Roadrunner will bill the county for those referencing the specific detainee who received and or receives these services. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Lily?
Has there been a problem, since they're not signing it, has there been a problem with them covering, furnishing payment and stuff for these materials in the past?
No, so there hasn't been a problem. They have been billing for these services, but like we said, it was not in the initial agreement, so therefore our county cannot pay for those. And this is what the agreement is for, so we can pay for those services that were not in the initial contract for them.
Okay.
Do you have a motion yet?
I do not.
I move we approve 7B. Second.
Got a motion and a second.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, 7C. Request for approval of agreement for detainee confinement between Roosevelt County and Colfax County at the Roosevelt County Detention Center. Ms. Ramsey.
Yeah, so this is an agreement between Roosevelt County and Colfax for them to house at our facility. The price would be the same as we bill other counties, things like that. And I'm just looking for approval for that contract.
I move we approve item 7C.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Greider.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Request for approval of agreement for inmate confinement between Colfax County and Roosevelt County at the Vigil Molinado Adult Detention Center, Ms. Ramsey.
So usually when we do these confinement agreements, they go both ways. So this is just a contract for approval for you guys to agree with us to house with that county if necessary.
What is the price for us to do that? Is it?
I didn't bring it with me, so I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
$99.75 per day.
Okay,
Move, we approve.
Second.
got a motion and a second. Commissioner Greider? Griswold?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Request for approval of memorandum of understanding between Roosevelt County and New Mexico Secretary of State for subgrant award for federal election assistance of $40,000. Ms. Hamilton?
Yes, I am presenting this on behalf of our county clerk who is attending Leadership Talis. So she wrote her grant application after she coordinated with Chase and administration just asking for ideas. Chase had a great idea on some specific software that they had both attended a webinar for that can help provide additional security. The memorandum of agreement was included in your packet. It is for a total of $40,000. The MOU is to be signed and submitted back to them following this meeting and requires the clerk's signature. And of course, it's a new agreement, so we brought it before the commission, asked for your approval.
Make the motion so approve.
Second. Motion is second.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Thank you. Oh, you're up again. Request for approval of contract amendment number 1 to the food service agreement at the Roosevelt County Detention Center. Ms. Hamilton?
Yes, so we have continued to work with our food contractor. Administrator Ramsey's worked closely to secure the amendment that was included in your packet, and this is specific to being able to provide Meals on Wheels in the event that that board so wishes to continue to seek out. They will require a separate contract between Summit and Meals on Wheels, as the county is not paying for that and getting reimbursed. They are handling that separately. This agreement just gives permission to the contractor to utilize our facilities and our equipment. They will utilize detainee labor, and they will reimburse the county 50 cents per meal to offset any costs perceived for the insurance, the electricity, the utilities and such, so that we can ensure that taxpayers are not funding this service.
That-
Move, we approve 7B, 7F.
Okay, I'll second. Got a motion, a second. Commissioner Greider?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, you're up. Request for approval of a contract to spray noxious weeds between Roosevelt County and the Roosevelt County Soil and Water Conservation District for $1,900. Ms. Hamilton?
Yes. So, Madam Chair, Commissioners, in the past, y'all have had, it's been probably 3 or 4 years, I think 3 actually, that since we've done this with Roosevelt Soil and Water Conservation with a new attorney, he reviewed the agreement as well. This is for spraying of noxious weeds, and this is allowed within our tailored grazing. So this is our 403 fund, and it's specific. We receive about $600 a year. Oftentimes we let it accumulate a bit. And so this contract would be for the 19,000. You currently have 1,900. You currently have $1,912.96 in that account. So that would help use it up. It is one of those that's statutorily allowed in this fund to be able to use. So this is a fund that we can use those contributions for from the state. I would stand for any questions and ask for approval.
Thanks. With that, I move to approve item 7G.
Second.
Got a motion, a second. Commissioner Criswell?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item 7H, request for approval of the intergovernmental agreement between the City of Portales and Roosevelt County for mutual services. I have a question on that, Ms. Hamilton. So I know that there was a request and you sent the the draft to a lot of the city councilors, correct? Is that right?
The fire chief actually requested it, and so I provided a copy to him.
Okay, did, out of anybody that saw it over there or anything, did they come back with any comments or disapprovals of anything in it that you know of? Has any comments been made at all?
No, ma'am. And Michael, did you hear back anything from the city attorney? I know you said you were going to submit to him. I provided it to the interim city manager, the fire chief.
I have not heard back. No.
Okay.
Okay.
So no, we haven't.
Thank you.
I could give you some more insight into that if you'd like.
So does anybody else have anything that they want to discuss on this? We got nothing? No comment on
I think a special meeting, we had an agreement, that decided we wanted to present we wanted to the intergovernmental agreement, and we kind of decided what we wanted to put in there, which I disagreed with. Didn't get my way about, but we had an agreement. And we presented that agreement to the council. To my belief, they accepted.
They did.
What I understand.
Now, for us to say no would be kind of like they did to us on the original deal. We thought we had an agreement and they backed out. I think our word ought to be good.
Yes, sir.
So I'm ready to vote past this.
Okay. And with that, I believe that during our conversation that we had when there was the four of us, or I guess there was six of us actually, and Ms. Hamilton, you and Mr. Criswell, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it agreed upon that we wanted it from the city standpoint as well, that it was to be just plain and basic? We didn't want any frills or a whole bunch of stuff, just pretty basic, correct? Okay. And that is exactly what this is. So with that, I will stand for a motion to approve item 7H.
I'll make the motion to approve item H, item 7H.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Commissioner Greider?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Is there any media communication, Ms. Hamilton?
Prior to adjournment, I would like to raise the question that privilege affecting the assembly. I would like permission to change my vote on item 7A.
7A, okay.
Voted yes, I changed to no. Is that granted,
Yes, sir.
Madam President?
Yes.
With that being said, I move to reconsider the vote on that motion. I voted on the prevailing side.
So do we bring it up at the next meeting or do we do this one?
Right now.
Okay. So we will go back to item 7A, request for approval of state of New Mexico audit contract with Cordova CPAs LLC for FY24 financial audit services for $43,639.
Madam Chairman, the reason I was, y'all voted no, and I respect your opinion. It just, I was unclear really as to why, because I thought that this firm had been doing our audit and been doing a satisfactory job, and it hasn't become necessary for us to change yet. And from what I heard about the discussion was that to change now would put excess burden on like the treasurer. So I was kind of wanted to kind of get a little bit more from you guys. Why are you wanting to change?
I could tell you on my part, when he rose the question on when we were talking about how long it had been, and it had been 7 years, and all of what was listed from everyone else was, that it had been 2 years or 4 years or whatever, and that we had had audits in the past, and Miss Hamilton had named a few. None of them had been that long. It had been, just a few years for each one of them. And then this being 7 and brought up, a new set of eyes and things on things. And to me, I would like to see something like that. And we had not, I guess we don't have to go out to bid, but hadn't gotten any prices or anything. And there might have been a different price this year or something. And why not just try it and see? And if not, we can always bring this one back up or whatever. I was just wanting to go and see what the other options were.
I see. I understand.
That was my point.
So how long can we keep them? 8? And they've been, so this will be their last year. You have 6. Do you think that this price is kind of what other, when they offered this price, it was the lowest bid. So if we pass this motion and decline their services, we'll have to put another RFP out. And then, and so with there, we run the risk of being lower, or we run the risk of being higher. I see.
And we've been told that there are, like this one followed up with Ms. Rivera because they are booked up already and they were saving a spot for us. So, I mean, I think it'd be great to also hear from the treasurer, her experience, because she has a heavy lift in the audit as well as Ms. Rivera.
Well, I've had some experience with these auditors. And I understand my experience with auditors, when you retain the same one a long time, you can have a problem with they're not finding something. That's a risk, but that's a risk for any auditor. But I think for just one more year, that's gambling whether we can get a better deal with the inflation the way it's gone in the last few years. I'm not sure we can get a better deal, and I'd rather take a gamble on keeping them another year. So just thank you for that explanation. I appreciate that. I think clears things up in my mind, but I'm ready to vote again. So
I'd like to hear our treasurer's side.
Or you want this or just?
Okay. I concur with Mr. Savage, and I believe that at this point, if we were to go out for RFP, number one, we won't get a lower price. Not now. I feel like they have done a fair job. I think they do a good job. They have definitely given us a lot of assistance and guidance on things that we can do and change. And I feel that they do look for things. I don't think that they have gotten complacent with us. And I think that if we wanted to look at doing something different next year, that would be the best advice from me at this point.
I know my reasoning for the no vote is like Rod said, they get complacent. The same ones looking at it every year run the risk of being complacent a lot higher than a fresh setup, than somebody that just the first or second year going in there. And so that was the reason why. But I respect your decision. And like I say, I'll take your advice. I'll change my vote.
And I would also like to say, I also do, but at the same time, I also put thought into my decision, my vote before I made it. And I still feel like another set of eyes, because you know, I still think that there's always that chance. And it's not a chance I want to take. I would rather pay a little bit extra to have an audit than I would to have something missed. And, you know, so I still stand with my original decision, but we can go ahead and if somebody would like to make a motion, we can go ahead and redo it.
I'll make that motion to approve.
Okay,
Right?
got a motion and a second. Commissioner Greider?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
motion carries. Thank you. Okay, and did you say there was no media communication, Ms. Hamilton? Okay.
No, ma'am.
All right. Then we